Hello, we're reading from No Right to an Honest Living by Jacqueline Jones. I think we're going to start to do two readings a day because I'm down to just two books. And I think we're going to order another book. If I can remember that, I have to get it at the library when I finish with these two. No Right to an Honest Living, Jacqueline Jones. Let's continue into it because it's amazing how little things have changed in this society. On the surface, it looks different, but when you know your history, it's just the same old. How do they say? Rearranging chairs on the deck of the Titanic. But let's go into it. In the North End, seamen spent their days ashore and squandered their pay before shipping out again. Their desire for release, for the thrill of gambling, and for female companionship, no matter how fleeting, fueled various business enterprises. The career of one black man, Joseph F. Clash, illuminates that part of Boston where all sorts of people came together, either to have a good time or to take advantage of those looking to have a good time. That might have been a plane going by because I lived near an airport. Clash himself pursued several ventures as barber, dance hall operator, pimp, and con man. Barber and con man. Ever ready to become the bare-knuckled aggressor when he felt circumstances demanded it. That's what a pimp has to do. His money-making activities showcase the qualities of any successful businessman. Financial investment in a physical plant, newspaper advertisement, shrewd management of employees of various talents and temperaments, a good product for the money, and the cultivation of local police on the beat. Ultimately, Clash inhabited a world where elements of commercialized leisure, dancing, eating, gambling, prostitution were enhanced by the consumption of copious amounts of alcohol. In a rum-soaked haze, entertainment, entrepreneurship, and mayhem all came together. Clash was born in 1808 in Salem, Massachusetts. His father, Anthony, born in Maryland around 1771, was a ship's cook at age 19. Joseph was sentenced to 4 years in the state penitentiary for larceny, though he did not serve the whole term. As early as the fall of 1840, 32-year-old was operating a barbershop on Boston's Hanover Street and selling tickets to vocal and instrumental concerts in Abiel Smith School. In the summer of 1842, together with several male and female associates, he was running a brothel and selling liquor on Sundays. A subsequent 6-month stint in jail failed to dampen Clash's ambitions. Soon after he got out, he married a black woman, Elizabeth Brown, 26, in Boston. So this is during the time of slavery. And as you can see, there were free people struggling, trying to function, trying to make ends meet. I'm going to show you the map. This is why I love these books, and I love being able to put them on video. I'm going to let you look at that for about a minute so you can really study it. But yeah, they tell you the thing about slavery in those days is that they weren't what you think. They were a lot more similar to what we're living in now. But they don't want you to know this because they want to be able to say, "Oh, we've come far. Oh, we've changed. Things have been changed." But they always hedge their bets and say, "Yeah, but we still have a long way to go." And if you really think about it, that doesn't really make sense. Because if we come long, we shouldn't have a long way to go. Freedom is a destination. Freedom doesn't mean life ends, but when you're free, you're free. And then you can function as a human being. Life's journey keeps going. Your consciousness might keep going, but freedom itself, it's a destination. And saying we've come a long way is like saying, look, you travel from New York to Florida, and you're down in Georgia, you're just about at Florida. You don't have a long way to go, right? So if we've come a long way, we shouldn't have that long ago. The fact is, we haven't gone anywhere as far as freedom for us. Real freedom where we can make choices, not between whether to starve and survive, but to actually live. And I don't mean lifestyle. I don't mean struggling from paycheck to paycheck and you can take a vacation, or you can go to brunch, or you can do, buy a tailor-made suit. That's not what I'm talking about. That's not what freedom is either. So let's finish. Clash figured in several high-profile murder cases in Boston. In the summer of 1844, the newspapers offered up salacious details. A victim bleeding to death from stab wounds administered with a Spanish dirk knife. Several young black and white prostitutes hovering near the scene on the sidewalk. The prelude to the late-night deadly encounter was a dance in Clash's basement hall, where seamen played cards, enjoyed a fiddler's music, and paid to socialize with young women who would, for a fee, accompany them back to their lodgings. A few witnesses were sitting in their apartment windows on the night of question, smoking and enjoying the moonlit street scene. As usual, tempers were short from too much to drink. James Gilmore, the fiddler for the evening and a presumed witness, testified that one of the white men had asked him, "Where you going, nigger?" And he replied, "I'm going home, sir." The defense lawyers in the case, Richard Henry Dana and Wendell Phillips, argued that the alleged assailant, their client, a white man named Peter York, had committed manslaughter, not premeditated murder, an argument that won the day and spared York the hangman's noose. In 1846, Clash testified in the trial of Albert Jackson Terrell, a white man who had allegedly killed one Maria Bickford, a prostitute. Clash said that Bickford had once lived with him in his house on Ann Street. The case garnered national headlines when Terrell's defense team argued that their client, a married man and father, had been sleepwalking when he had slit Bickford's throat. And this novel defense strategy had led to the defendant's acquittal. Man, he slit a black woman's throat and was able to get off. That's justice. Well, it's not justice, but that's what their court system is and was. And if we don't do something, you know what? I'm not even going to say always will be, because human beings, if we don't get our act together, we're out of here. In a third case 3 years later, Clash served as a witness in the sensational Washington Good case. Good, a black sailor, was charged with killing a romantic rival, Thomas Harding. Testifying for the prosecution, Clash admitted he knew the principals of the case. Patrons of Ann Street's drum shops, sellers, and the one his friend Jephthah Harris owned in particular. The woman in the middle of this triangle, Mary Ann Williams, was apparently a prostitute, but made extra money by doing her client's laundry. Clash spoke at some length, relaying what he knew of her, but the defense challenged Clash's testimony on the grounds of his competency, given the fact that he had served time in jail for keeping a brothel and selling liquor without a license. The district attorney then surprised the court by claiming that the governor, Edward Everett, had part in Clash, thus expunging his conviction. Clash's attorney, Robert Morris, presented the judge with a signed document to that effect. Good was hanged after a public outcry that the trial had been unfair. So, life was exciting, huh? All the same drama. So when people say, oh, social media did this and the internet did that, we've been going through this stuff for a long time. We've been struggling a long time. We've been doing underground economies for a long time. So they just want to blame it on the tech because they don't want to do the social and political work to make this world and society better. And we have to do our part. That's why I read from these books, and I hope that you use it. I'm doing my part. I hope you do yours. No Right to an Honest Living by Jacqueline Jones. Be safe out there and take care.